Yeah. Save rock and roll. Now, I know you're like, what do you mean rock and roll? What do you mean save it? Rock and roll's everywhere. Everyone knows like the Rolling Stones, other rock bands that are out there. But Fall Out Boy, very important towards rock and roll. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Recently, 2013, Fall Out Boy released an album called Save Rock and Roll, and they kind of had a message behind it, was that rock and roll wasn't something to put in a box. It was something that was about invention and trying new things, and it's not just whatever bands happened in the 80s that everyone has to know and like classic rock. So hopefully today I can show you and you'll be inspired by Fall Out Boy and their 5-album discography to know how they inspired a generation of music lovers and inspired people to not look at music so rigidly. Fall Out Boy has been a band since 2001. They are from Chicago. They kind of just got together. They were like, hey guys, let's start a band. That'd be really cool. We all live together. We all love music. My dad plays music. And they got together. They wrote some songs. They put out their first album called Evening Out With Your Girlfriend in 2003. Did not go well. They hate it, and they often don't talk about it. They don't really consider it like their first album. And later that year, they came out with Take This to Your Grave. And Take This to Your Grave, musically, was very important because it was part of the punk movement, but they didn't really consider themselves a punk band from Chicago. Because of this, like, Fall Out Boy has changed dramatically between each album, kind of taking bits and pieces from other genres as they go along. Like, instrumentally, they'll start sampling other things and bringing them together and creating it part of this punk movement. And so by the time that we get to recent times, you can understand where they come from when they're thinking that music isn't something as rigid as everyone wants to think. In 2005, they came out with, From Under the Cork Tree. And that was basically what put Fall Out Boy on the map as a band to watch out for. One of their most popular songs, Sugar We're Going Down, which everyone's probably heard, was a really big hit with like all the music channels. Everyone was like, who's this new band, Fall Out Boy? Why is there a guy with deer horns in this video? Nothing makes sense, but I love it. So that's where I started as a Fall Out Boy fan. I've been a Fall Out Boy fan since I was 11 years old, which is about 8 years now. And that was the first album that I ever had. I was at a Bring Your Kid to Work day with my father, and his boss gave me a Fall Out Boy album and was like, I hear your daughter probably likes this kind of music, and maybe she'll be into this. So I listened to it. I got obsessed with it. I was like, this is me, this is what I'm going to do forever. I'm just going to listen to Fall Out Boy and nothing else will be wrong. And imagine yourself as like a 6th grader who's kind of like, I don't really have any ambitions. Like, I want to do stuff, but I don't have any drive to complete it. And this band shows up and they've got these lyrics that you can relate to. And that's why Fall Out Boy is so important to me. And then in 2007, they came out with Infinity on High. Infinity on High has Thanks for the Memories, a classic tune. Great ender of any middle school dance. Everyone's like, oh, play Thanks for the Memories. We're like, yes, thanks for those memories, sir. Lance, Patrick Stump, and then everyone's like, there's those other two guys that probably do something else, I don't know. But that's, Thanks for the Memories is really where everyone was embedded into like the school experience, I suppose. And then a year later, I was in 8th grade, and they released Foliage, which is such a departure from Infinity on High that a lot of people said that they were going to abandon Fall Out Boy and that they weren't the same things. But it also brought a lot of new fans, as Foliage had collaborations with Lil Wayne, and a lot of rock fans were like, I'm not about that. I hate Lil Wayne. He's a rapper, and that's disgusting. But it really changed the genre in a way where people could have collaboration, and it would be a lot less something to be looked down on, as like people actually listened to it and heard that it was something to be praised as opposed to something to be like thumbs down on YouTube. And I actually started making a lot of friends who really loved Fall Out Boy at that point, because I was kind of a loner, and if you talk to people about, oh my god, I really love Foliage, and they're like, oh my god, me too. We're two of the same. And that was something that was really nice. And then Fall Out Boy took a huge break. Everyone was devastated. They just went off the grid. They released a greatest hits album in 2009, and everyone was like, this is it. This is the end. Fall Out Boy is over. What am I supposed to do now? And there were 2 years of that like despair where no one knew what was gonna happen. Is Patrick Stump even still alive? Like, where is Pete Wentz? Is he raising a baby somewhere with Ashley Simpson? But then 2013, February 4th, middle of the night, there's a video, and it's 2 Chainz throwing old Fall Out Boy albums into a fire, and a new Fall Out Boy song comes out. Light 'em Up. Well, my songs Know What You Did in the Dark, brackets, Light 'em Up. And this devastates. Everyone's like, Fall Out Boy returns. This is the beginning of who I was before, but I've changed now. And it's like bringing your childhood back from when you were still like lonely and scared and afraid that you weren't going to be able to live up to anybody's expectations. And then that band that helped you and saved you comes back, and they're like, look at you, you did it. I see you now, like, older, and you've managed so much that you didn't think you could ever manage. And then they have Save Rock and Roll, which is an album that has collaborations with so many people you would never think of being involved with rock and roll. I mean, there's the obvious Courtney Love, lead singer of Hole, was married to Kurt Cobain. But there's also Big Sean, and like I said, 2 Chainz, and Elton John. And you're like, why is Elton John on Save Rock and Roll? He's on the title track of Save Rock and Roll, and I would have never thought that Elton John could be someone so integral to the change and feel of a movement that could really change perspectives on everyone's rock and roll. And that whole album inspired a new group of Fall Out Boy fans to go out there and conquer music and tell all their friends and experience it the way that we did even back in 2005. And so that's why Fall Out Boy is important and kind of essential to anything musically from 2003 to 2013, and that's why I care.